Hello, my YouTube friends. Today it is time for Pick Stick Challenge for the month of June. And I have my custom keeper here. I'm going to pull out a piece of paper that I've jelly printed because the colors for this month are fuchsia and wisteria. And so I had fuchsia down on here, and the first prompt says mellow. Well, fuchsia is not exactly a mellow color. So I'm going to grab my little pop-top jar that has my gesso in it, and I'm going to coat this fuchsia, this bright pink color, with a little bit of gesso just to push it back into the background and allow more layers to go on here. This is something that I do quite often, and you'll see me do it over and over again, so I hope you're not tiring of it, but I think it's important to make things blend together. So I'm just taking a rag and I'm going to remove a little bit of the gesso to reveal some of what's behind on that gel print. And then I'll move on to step number 2. And step number 2 is paste. So I'm going to get out some molding paste and a stencil. Actually, this is Ranger texture paste that is about dried up, and I thought I ought to use it up. And I have a very dirty stencil, so you'll see some color come off on the page, and I'm okay with that because I like these colors and I'm not too worried about it. You know, if you're worried about it, clean your stencils. If you're not, if you're like me and it just adds to the whole mystery, then go for it. Let it happen. And so it's got a little bit of yellow tinge to it. I don't mind the yellow. So put it on in several places, and then I'll have to dry that because step number 3 says heat. And so what am I going to use? I'm going to use a heat tool. And I'm just cleaning a little bit of that paste, that texture paste, off of my stencil so it's ready to go for the next time. Or, you know, not, because it's really still pretty dirty and I probably should soak it in some Murphy's Oil soap. But, oh well, it's the way I roll. So, I've got that on a piece of paper that I can use on something else, and I've got this here, and I'm going to heat it and set that and move on to the next step. Now we are ready for step number 4. And step number 4 is paint. So I'm pulling out some paints. I want to bring in that wisteria color, and I don't really have that color, so I'm going to mix it with a little titanium white and a little iridescence and get that purpley lavender sort of color of wisteria. And I'm just going to use my palette knife and smear some of that around on the page because it just says paint. It doesn't say paint with what. So yeah, I have a palette knife in hand that I mixed it with, so that's what I'm going to smear it on the page with. And then I'm going to spritz it with some water and dab it with a baby wipe and get it to blend in a little bit more into the background. You know, it's all about layer, 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 right? So I'm happy with that. I've got to dry it, clean up my mess, and so I'll get out my heat tool again. Back to step 3, right? And then we'll move on to the next step once this is dry, which is hexagon. Okay, so I cut out a little bit of the drying time and the searching time. I die cut. This is a Tim Holtz die that has hexagon shapes in kind of a, I don't know what you call that, lattice? Something. And I wanted to use these pieces on my page, so I'm just, you know, cutting out some more of that gel print paper. It already is painty. I love the texture. I love everything about it. So I'm going to use those papers that I already had in my booklet ready to roll and just glue those up, stick them down on my page, and then I'll coat the page with a layer of gel medium because I'm going to be putting step number 6, which is a glaze, on top of this, and I want it to float. I don't want it to soak in. I want it to float over the top and sink into the cracks and crevices. So I'll just put a layer of that medium on top to seal this particular layer into the background. So I'm playing around, just trying to figure out where my last little pieces are going to go, and then you'll see me get out some glazing products. Now, I have my own glaze that I made using some paints from the DecoArt line, which is DecoArt Media Paint, and a little bit of their varnish. And I use this quite often in glazing my pages. I like the color, but you'll see me, I put the glaze on and decide I need another layer. So the varnish has a little bit of the quinacridone gold in it. I thought it would bring up that yellowy color on the stenciled area, but yes, it did a little bit, but I really wanted a little more depth in there. So my next layer that I'm reaching for is DecoArt Media Antiquing Cream. This one happens to be in a raw umber color, and I'm liking that a little bit more. I'll try to remember to put additional links in the end of the video to another video where I use the antiquing cream, the varnish that I created, just so that you can see the effect on other colors. I do like this. It kind of helps to blend the page together. However, on this particular one, it just didn't have the depth that I was looking for. So that's why I went to the antiquing cream and was a bit more satisfied with that. Once I've done that, I go and find a jelly printed piece of paper that has a feather on it, and I'm going to use that to apply my quote to this page. So I had taken my daughter out for her birthday, and we had gone to a movie, which is The Book Club. And I was really digging the movie, you know, because it's a bunch of old ladies like me. And they were reading a particular book that has a lot of sensation to it. And I had found this quote that I thought was appropriate to, you know, what I was thinking at the time. And actually was a quote from one of the actresses that played in this particular movie. And the quote is, "I never understood the idea that you're supposed to mellow as you get older. Slowing down isn't something I relate to at all. The goal is to continue in good and bad, all of it." And this is a quote from Diane Keaton. And I thought, yeah, that really is how I feel, because even though many times my body doesn't want to keep up with my mind and the things that I want to do, I don't want to slow down. I want to live life and enjoy life. And so I needed to put that in my journal. It was just one of those pages that was talking to me. And so for this month's Pick a Stick Challenge, that's about it. I hope you come and join us if you haven't already. And if you are new to my channel, be sure and give me a thumbs up, comment, and click the little bell down below so that you get notified of other content that will be available to you as it comes out. So thanks for being with me today. I hope you enjoyed this. And remember, you make a difference. So be kind and share the love. Bye for now.